feels welcome in this community. Celebrate with joy. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate peace and harmony. Celebrate with joy. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate our unity. Celebrate with joy. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate peace and harmony. Celebrate with joy. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate our unity. Celebrate with joy. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate peace and harmony. Celebrate with joy. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate our unity. Celebrate our unity.
Yes, indeed. Celebrate our unity. Welcome to Unity Comox Valley. Thank you for being part of this spiritual community and for remembering that we are much more than a time or a place or a location, that we are much more than even our physical beings. That when we come together in the spirit of oneness and the spirit of unity, that our light shines just even more brightly, doesn't it? Before we go into our opening prayer, I invite you to bring to mind a word that you would like to express more of or see more of in your life, just for today. Just for today. Could be a word like joy or peace, beauty. Perhaps if you're struggling today, it can be a word like strength, faith. We know that one of our unity principles, and indeed it's a universal principle, that it matters where we put our attention and our focus. It influences our experience. So just take a moment and bring a word to mind. What light do you want shining on your path today? And let's bring that into our opening prayer. So we come together in unity of spirit, in the strength of our commonality, of our divine nature. We breathe into this moment. It is the only moment we have. So just enjoy that breath. That beautiful expression of divine life that flows in and out. We know that we are one with all creation. That we are birthed from the one source. And so as we remember that, we also remember and recognize that we hold within us as a part of our divine nature everything that God is, everything that Spirit is, everything that source energy is. And what a great thing to remember. So bring your word to mind right now. And see how aligning yourself with this word just for today will shift your experience. will motivate you in a different way. Will shine light in the areas of uncertainty or doubt. We are so grateful for each other, for this community, for all humanity, for all life. And in this state of gratitude, we say thank you. Thank you. And so it is. Amen. I'd like to share with you a reading from the Daily Word. And this is, I found this Daily Word, March 1929. March 1929. The first Daily Word was in 1924. I thought this was a beautiful reading for today. The affirmation at the top is this: every day I greet the world and its people with a new vision and a higher viewpoint. Shall we greet each day with a vision cleared of all false pictures and memories of the past? Shall we feel that each day we have a higher viewpoint than we had the day before? Can we not take the attitude that each day we behold a different world, a new one, since the world is being transformed very rapidly through right thinking and spiritual power? Do not live in a world of age, decay, and disintegration. Do not allow yourself to be bound by the limited thinking of yesterday. Do not let your mind be influenced by the limitations of the past. By seeing a new world each day, by finding newer blessings day by day, you will free your eyes from the monotony of looking at old things. Your eyes will be renewed through beholding new visions. Your beholding the newness of the world will compensate you by giving you new and delightful things to see and new eyes through which to see them. If you tire of life, change your viewpoint. Learn to see life in its ever-increasing newness. And the affirmation, every day I greet the world and its people with a new vision and a higher viewpoint. And now a song.
Flowing like a river
asked you to bring to mind a word that you wanted to give more energy and more life to. And as I mentioned, this is one of our unity practices. It is a universal truth, and you've probably heard it spoken in many different ways. Attention goes where energy flows. What you focus on grows. What goes around comes around. So this practice of mindfully choosing where we put our attention is something that we can incorporate into our everyday lives in big ways, in small ways, in long-term ways, and short-term ways, like just a word for the day. We are influencing our life experience all the time. So this practice keeps our minds and our hearts in a positive, creative flow. Hafiz, a Persian poet, says this: "What we speak builds the house we live in." What we speak builds the house we live in. So choosing our focus and intention is something, like I said, that we can do in many, many ways. One easy way that I incorporate this is every morning before I even get out of bed. So as soon as I wake up, I give thanks that I woke up, because not everybody did, right? And then I just spend a little bit of time bringing to mind things to be grateful for. Just big and little, whatever's on my mind, I just allow that to come out. And then I look at what the day looks like ahead of me, what's coming up, what might be going on. And I take some time to think about what word, one of these intention words that we were just talking about, could I conjure up for today that will help me and move me smoothly and joyfully and calmly through the day that comes. It helps remind me on what I do want to experience. So as we know, focusing on what we don't want or what we don't like doesn't actually push that away. It actually just brings it even closer to us. It pulls us it attaches us to what we don't like. So let's remember to put our attention on something that we do want to create more of. So referring to this word as the day goes on is such a great experience, because I find myself off track. It's like, I can fall into worry or concern or impatience, things like that. And when I do, I've learned to recognize that as a sign that I'm not in alignment with certainly my principles, and probably not with the word that I selected for the day. So setting this intention, choosing this one word is really a form of affirmative prayer. And in a couple of Sundays from now, we're going to be taking a whole service to talk about what that is. But for now, even one positive word that you put before you, that you speak, is a prayer. That's a daily practice. We can do that every morning. Find that word. I also have a yearly practice that I use in my ministerial work. Every month, I submit a report of my activities to the board. And on the top of that report is a scripture verse that I've selected for the year. And it's my foundation piece, it's my go-to piece, it's what, is above everything that I'm doing. And so it's quite fun, actually, as I know that January is approaching, to start looking through scripture and finding, just something that resonates with me, having no idea, of course, what the year will bring. So this is the one I chose in January 2020. It's from Malachi. "Put me to the test and see, I will open up the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room to take it all in. Put me to the test and see, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room to take it all in." That's a challenge, isn't it? Put me to the test and see how the blessings pour out. So I chose this in early January, and then 6 weeks later, we find ourselves in this place now of physical distancing and virtual spiritual community. So I am putting it to the test, and I'm bringing my resilience and my faith and my reliance on Source up a few more notches, right? And I'm already seeing the blessings that are pouring out. And I have another overarching phrase that's really more like my life for now. Always can change, right? But right now, and for quite some time, it has been my life kind of phrase. So we just sang it in our song, Spirit-led, Spirit-fed. The first time I heard that phrase, my whole body just went, yes, yes. You know that feeling when your heart leaps a little bit? It could be hearing something, a beautiful poem. It could be looking at an amazing piece of artwork. It could be the voice of someone special to you. It could be remembering something that happened in your life. There's immediate resonance, right? There's something in us that just smiles. Before my ordination, we were all asked, all the ordinants were asked, what we would like to have behind us on the huge stage at Unity Village when we walked up to be ordained. And I didn't have to think for a second. It's like, I want Spirit-led, Spirit-fed. And for those who traveled to Unity Village for my ordination, you probably remember that. So and there's a picture of me standing on stage with Spirit-led, Spirit-fed behind me. I also had it engraved on my Bible. When I first heard it, it really piqued my spiritual curiosity. What does that exactly mean? How would I live my life like that? What things do I need to let go of to allow Spirit-fed to express itself more fully in my life, to be a way of life for me? So it's been pretty much like a 20-year question that I've lived with, and it guides me and it also challenges me, and that's what I like about it. Well, let's start with the word spirit. I hope you've noticed in Unity that we are given lots of personal freedom, really in all things, and especially in what we name that a divine presence. Finding a word for God if that word does not work for us. As Unity ministers, we are challenged and called to use many, many different words for this really indescribable presence. So, we say source energy or divine mind or God or spirit, right? Those kinds of things. So I encourage you to find a word, or maybe it's a couple of words that really resonates with you, that describes, like I said, the indescribable, something that rings true for you, that, where your heart goes, yeah, that's the one. Many of us grew up in faith traditions that had very specific languaging about God, and many of us left those traditions, as we matured. So I came up from a family that went to a local church every Sunday. It was not a terrible experience. It was a kind place. I was in the choir and in Sunday school and had some friends there. But as soon as I was old enough to say, I don't want to go anymore, I stopped going. Because even though it was okay, I couldn't find the relevance or the practicality of what I heard on Sundays and what I was experiencing in my everyday life. So, it just nothing really clicked for me. But for me, the word God was neutral. It didn't mean anything, nothing bad or nothing good. But just because I left traditional church doesn't mean that I was still not longing for a spiritual path. It was just a little bit harder to find back then. Now, one of the projects that I've been doing at home in this time that we have at home is to drag out some totes that I've had stored for, at least 20 years. I haven't looked into for probably 20 years. I have these 2 totes. And so I pulled one of them into the house and opened it up and started going through all the little memorabilia and historical items, artifacts from my life, my earlier life. But one of the things I found in there I had totally forgotten about was letters that my mom saved, letters that I wrote home when I left home when I was 18, really into my 20s and 30s. And there are hundreds of them. I didn't know that she was doing that. I guess when she passed and I was going through her stuff, I thought, oh, these are my letters. And I probably put them in that tote and never looked at them. So I've been going through these letters and reading them, and it's quite an experience to see what was on my mind as an 18, 19-year-old in New York City working at a crisis center, and in my experience at Friends World College when I traveled around the world and lived in different cultures, and how I was struggling to make a living by myself. And of course, what's also interesting is all the things that weren't in the letters, because, there's some things you never tell your parents about, all the hitchhiking and all that kind of stuff. But what I came across were things like this. When I was 16 years old, I went to Washington, D.C., and I sent my mom a postcard of an exquisite mosque that I had visited. And on the postcard I wrote, "This is such a beautiful place. I sat here for hours." I also found brochures from Self-Realization Fellowship, where I visited many, many, many times in Southern California, from the Theosophical Society, from Hindu temples, from other spiritual paths and programs that they were offering. So all these things I was drawn to, but they didn't take the form of traditional Christian church. So I think that's when I heard those words, spirit-led, spirit-fed, they resonated so strongly with me. And even after all these years, I'm still drawn to the challenge of living a spirit-led, spirit-fed life. So what draws your attention? What speaks to your heart? What is your word for the divine everything, all that is? You don't have to figure that out right now. But I'd like to do an exercise over the coming week. So the first step is get a piece of paper with lines on it and a pen. And I'm asking you to do that right now. I'm going to go get mine. I'll be right back. What I'd like you to do is on the left-hand side, just write Sunday, leave a couple spaces, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, down the left-hand side. Okay, so this week, starting today, I'd like you to make a note of a highlight of the day. Just a few words. Something that warmed your heart. Something that made you smile. Just one thing. Could be the hummingbirds coming to the feeder. It could be amazing flowers that you have growing in your garden. It could be a call that you had from a friend, or an email, or a great meal. So just one thing for the day, but the highlight of the day. Like, what is the coolest thing, the best thing that happened to me today that really made me smile? So we're just going to do this for each day of the week coming up. I'll do this as well. And next Sunday, We're going to take a look at them and see what this tells us. Let's prepare now for our time of prayer and meditation.
In the silence I can feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home. In the silence I can feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home. In the silence I can feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home.
Let us join together in this field of meditation, sitting comfortably, body relaxed. Please take a few deep breaths, letting go of any cares and concerns, allowing yourself to be here in this moment. No need for things to be different than they are right now. Everything in this moment is in divine order. I invite you to allow this field of stillness and spaciousness to be here, simply to be here. Please bring your attention to your heart area. You may want to put your hand on your heart and feel the breath coming in and going out. Remember who you are, one with divine mind, one with source energy, one with spirit. Choose love over fear, love over self-absorption, love over judgment and separation. This is the greatest gift you can give to the world. Hold these words in the silence. I am a loving presence to everyone I meet. I am a loving presence to everyone I meet. In these challenging times, we could ask ourselves what would make the biggest difference in our world. Our answer is somehow going to revolve around more love. As conscious human beings, we know that the meaning of life is about expressing more love, embodying more love, giving more love. Hold these words in the silence. Love is expressing itself in my actions and behaviors. Love is expressing itself in my actions and behaviors. There's a kind of love that simply comes through me without my will being involved at all. There is a love that is simply arising and is expressing through me. Love shows up spontaneously. This love, in a sense, is the first cause. It is source in me. That love is my true nature, and it spontaneously shows up as who I am. Hold these words in the silence. Love is my true nature and is expressing through me. Love is my true nature and is expressing through me. Repeat to yourself the holy words. Beloved, let us love one another. Beloved, let us hold, let us love one another. My higher nature is love, and I bring that love into the world. I release any obstacles to love in me. I liberate love to be the single moving force and power in this world. As I remain centered in divine love, I know oneness in God with all people. With an open mind and loving heart, I pray. Let peace prevail in all hearts of all people at all times. Let peace prevail in all hearts of all people at all times. May our leaders around the world make wise and compassionate decisions for the good of all beings and for the good of the planet. Hold these words in the silence. Beloved, let us love one another. Beloved, let us love one another. I invite you now to bring to mind any person or any situation to include in this time of prayerful meditation. Let the healing love and peace flow out to them with comfort and loving embrace. Thank you for being here today, bringing the divine power of your presence, your love, and your compassion for us all to grow in love and participate in healing the world. Please join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Donnie Wilson for providing that meditation for us. Every week, we'll be hearing from someone different. We've formed a team to provide these meditations for the Sunday service, so thank you so much. This is the time that I like to save for what might be a thought for the day or any kind of communication that you would like to share with your spiritual community. So please, if you have something that you would think would be wonderful to enhance this experience that we are having together, please send it to me at info@unitycomoxvalley.com. I have a message here from Heather Hodge. She says this: I was out and about the other day in one of my many secret spots for hunting wildflowers. I wasn't disappointed. The wild ginger is out in profusion. The flowers are spectacular, uniquely shaped and brown. Who ever heard of brown flowers? And you have to hunt for them because they hide on the ground under the foliage. People who cycle, run, or walk quickly don't stand a chance of ever seeing them. It requires getting down on your hands and knees and carefully moving the leaves aside to enjoy them. It's a bit like life. When I rush around with a task or a goal in mind, I miss so much that is interesting, beautiful, and precious. I also don't hear the messages I'm supposed to hear. When I stop to appreciate the flowers, I feel joy. The joy of God's magnificent, abundant world. I can learn a lot from others and from myself if I stop and listen and look. Thank you, Heather. I know that we have all enjoyed many blessings this past week. And so right now I would like to invite you to bring one of those to mind, something that made your day, something that, like I was saying earlier, kind of made your heart jump a little bit, something that brought some satisfaction or some peace or some calm into your life. And hold it in your heart as the gift that it is. We are in the flow of giving and receiving, and we know that every blessing that we give magnifies itself 10 times over. To those of you who are sending donations to Unity Comox Valley, thank you. So with joy in your hearts and minds, I invite you to affirm the love offering affirmation with me. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Once again, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Father's Day is coming up in a few weeks, and so we are going to do what we did last time in May with Mother's Day. If you have a photo of your father, please email it to us at info@unitycomoxvalley.com and send along a few words. Oh, his name, if you could provide. So a photo, first name, or first and last name, and also perhaps a few words, something that you appreciate about them or something that you learned from them. If you don't have a photo, please send some words. We can still be able to share those on Father's Day. We're starting early this time. It's still a few weeks away, but it does take quite a bit of time to collect all those photos and all those things and put them together into something that we can share with you on that Sunday. So thank you for maybe doing this sooner than later. I know that you are watching this from our website, and so just a reminder that also on the website there's some tabs across the top. If you click on the Watch tab, you will see all the Sunday services that we put on the web. I think this is the 10th one. You can go back and listen to them. You can share them with a friend. If you click on the Listen tab, what you'll see are all the meditations. And as you know, any of these things you can listen to or watch anytime during the week, and you can listen to them over again, of course, if you choose. Many people are sending our website on to their friends and family because people, are looking for something now that is positive and peaceful and life affirming. So, please keep that in mind. You may want to do something like that. Every week there's a newsletter, of course. If you do not receive it, please send us an email at, you guessed it, info@unitycomoxvalley.com. We'll put you on the list. So please keep in touch with us. Phone us, email us, let us know how we're doing. We appreciate the feedback. We act on that feedback. We appreciate the contact with you. So thank you again for being here today. For our closing, I would like to invite you to relax and sit back and listen to this poem that I found by an Australian doctor, and her name is Maitri Guna Talik. And it's called Turn Your Face to the Sun. There are days when nothing seems right, when every shell you pick up on the beach is broken, when the silken treasure slips through your fingers too quickly, when comforts are empty and the world is noise. On those jagged edged days, when the wind is screaming for a reason only she understands, and you find yourself all alone, turn your face to the sun. There is goodness in the world that even the river of tears cannot erase. There is love in the world that armies of fear cannot destroy. Sometimes that goodness is everywhere apparent. It pours from the heart of every moment, from the light of every smile. On those soft days, love hides in the eaves to drop like sweet honey on your forehead and sings her lullabies in the arms of the winds. But on some days, we need to look, to see. So turn your face to the sun. Even when she is nowhere to be seen, go inside yourself. Find a speck, a splinter of beauty to be grateful for. Yes, the day has worn you out. And yes, our mistakes have been many. But say thank you anyway. Take account of all that is in your possession. A mind, a heart, a body, a life that breathes, even if for just one more day. Now count the eyes that have smiled at you on your journey, the hands that have held you tenderly, the ears that have listened, and the prayers that have been made on your behalf, and whisper thank you again. Count the sky that has watched you grow, the waves that find their echo in your breathing, the little birds that have sung you their songs, the stars which have been a lamp to your path. Count unexpected laughter. Count undeserved grace. And bow your head and say thank you. You are the goodness that cannot be extinguished, the love that burns through the darkest night. And perhaps, in turning, you will see what I have seen, that this day, where everything seemed wrong, was not your curse, it was your gift. Your chance to find inside yourself a forgotten thank you, and turn your face to the sun. Have a great week. See you next Sunday. We'll close with our peace song.